So tissue. In here we learn about the tissue. So first of all, what is tissue? We know all living organism composed of the cell, and the cell is the composed of many cells is known as tissue. Cells also two types, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular. In unicellular organism, a single cell perform all the function like amoeba. Multicellular. In multicellular organism, there are millions of cells specialized to carry on a specific task like human being. Unicellular have only one or single cell. Multicellular more than one cell. So what is tissue? Cells specialized to perform the specific function are grouped together to form a cluster. This cluster of cells is called tissue. So tissue means the cells that used to perform a specific function in a specific region is known as tissue. Or we can be say a group of cells that are similar in structure and or work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Then what is the utility of tissue in multicellular organism? So what is the uses of a multicellular, what is the uses of tissue in multicellular organism? So they provide definite energy, they provide mechanical strength, they provide facilitated division of labor. Then we go from plant tissue. Cells specialized to perform specific functions in plants are plant tissue. Characteristic of a plant tissue. Growth in plants occur in certain specific region. This is due to dividing tissue located at the points. So plant tissue was divided by the region or the specific regions. These are called meristematic tissues, and second is permanent tissue. So meristematic tissue is the tissue that helps a plant for the growth is known as meristematic tissue, or then permanent tissue is the meristematic tissue which lose the ability for the growth is known as permanent tissue. So plant tissue are meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Then what is the characteristic of meristematic tissues? The meristematic tissue may be spherical, oval, polygonal or rectangle in shape. It is the structure of meristematic tissue. These cells are very active. They are thin cellulose walls. They have few or no vacuoles. They have dense cytoplasms. Then we go from their occurrence. They are growth tissue. We know that meristematic tissue are for the growth, and permanent tissue, the meristematic tissue which lose their ability for the growth. Then meristematic tissue was divided in the basis of regions like apical meristematic, lateral meristematic, intercalary meristematic. Apical, present at the growing tips of stems and roots. Apical, present in the growing stems. This is apical meristematic tissue. It present in the stems and roots of the plant. Then go from the intercalary. Intercalary present in the vascular duct of roots and stems. It helps for the increasing of the diameter and also called as secondary growth. So when it is said to what is primary growth of a meristematic tissue, or we can say what is the basis in which the meristematic tissue was divided, means its answer will be region. But when it is called that what is primary growth and what is secondary growth, so in primary growth which meristematic tissue are there and in which secondary growth are there, then apical will be primary growth and lateral will be secondary growth. So intercalary, this is intercalary and this is lateral meristematic. Then permanent tissue, the tissue that are completely grown and have lost their ability. I say in previously that the meristematic tissue which lose their ability for the growth is known as permanent tissue. The permanent tissue shape, size and function is attended by the process called differentiation. So permanent tissue are two types: simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue. So simple permanent tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, or the complex permanent tissue, phloem or xylem. So first is simple permanent tissue, the tissue that are made of one type of cell and the structurally function similar, like parenchyma. Simple permanent tissue are made of one type of cell and structure have the same structure and function, similar function have that, like parenchyma. So this tissue are divided in three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So first of parenchyma, the most common simple permanent tissue. The cells are rounded or isometric. Means in here the parenchyma structure is described. So then its marker, they are living cells. They are generally loosely arranged. They have large space between them. Their cell wall is thin. Then we know that in which place the parenchyma was distributed in plants, like stem, roots, leaves, found in soft plants in parts like roots, ground tissue, etc. Then function. Then we go from the function. This tissue generally food store, serve as the packing tissue to fill space between tissue. Transport of materials occur through the cell or cell wall of parenchyma. It stores waste product of plant. It maintains the shape and firmness of plant due to turgidity. Then we go from collenchyma. We know that simple permanent tissue are three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then collenchyma. Then we first know about its structure. Collenchyma tissue also consists living cells. Intercellular space absent. The cells are elongated in shape. They often contain 4 chloroplasts. In here, the picture of collenchyma is there. Then we go from in which the collenchyma tissue is situated in which place. So cell located in the epidermis, reticle, stems and the petioryl. The cells also occur in the midribs of dicot leaves. Then function is, it provides mechanical support and elasticity. It allows for easy bending various part of plant without actually breaking it. When cells of collenchyma contain same chloroplast, they manufacture sugar and starch. Its function, note it. Then we go from sclerenchyma. So sclerenchyma's nature, they are dead cell and are devoid of protoplasm. The cell wall of sclerenchyma greatly thickened of lignin. The cell of sclerenchyma closely packed with intercellular space. Then it is the structure of, means the sclerenchyma cells are dead, but the parenchyma cells are living cells and collenchyma tissue also living cells. It is the sclerenchyma help for the hardened strips. It is present in the stems, roots, vein of the leaves and seeds and nuts. Then its function is, it gives strength, rigidity, flexibility, elasticity to plant body. It gives strength, rigidity, flexibility, elasticity and to plant body, like the coconut husk, etc. Then we go from protective tissue, but protective tissue is required, but we skip that. Then we go from complex permanent tissue. Complex permanent tissue are those that consist of more than one type of cell, have a common origin. These cells coordinate to perform common function to transport the minerals, salts, food material and various parts of plant body. So complex permanent tissue are the tissue which consist more than one cell. But in the case of simple permanent tissue, the cells are there was one type of cell, but in this more than one type of cell are there. So complex permanent tissue are two types, xylem and phloem. We can say xylem complex permanent tissue or phloem complex permanent tissue. So we know that about both are conducting tissue, they are also vascular tissue, together about constitute vascular bundle. Then we know about xylem and phloem. Xylem, it consists trachea, vessel, xylem parenchyma, trachea vessel have tubular structure that help for transport. It is main important because trachea vessels work is it allows to transport water vertically. Means which organs of xylem help for transport in water in vertically? Which organ of xylem help for or allow the substance or liquid to transport in vertically? Xylem parenchyma stores foods. Xylem fibers are mainly supportive in nature. So in which we know about that xylem is stores water. Xylem is related to water. Then phloem is related to food. Phloem is related to food. Phloem made of 5 types of cells: sheath cells, sheath tubes, component cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Sheath tubes and tubular cells which perforate walls. Except phloem fibers, other phloem cells are living cells. Phloem transport food from leaves to other parts of plant. This is the work of the phloem. It is a structure and which cells are there in the phloem. In these sheath tubes are tubular and perforated walls. Phloem fibers and other phloem cells are living. Except phloem fibers is dead cell. It is dead cell. Phloem transport food from leaf to other part of plants. Then we go from the some question answer. Name the types of simple tissue: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. The simple tissue are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then where is apical meristem found? In growing tips and roots. What is tissue makes husk of our? We said sclerenchyma. Coconut husk is an example. I say. What is the constituent of the phloem? Sheath cells, sheath tubes, component cells, phloem fiber and the phloem parenchyma. So the class is end.